In every generation, people search for the key to success, a hidden code that turns ordinary lives into extraordinary ones. Some call it luck, others call it fate, but those who have truly studied the patterns of creation know that success is neither random nor accidental. It is governed by laws, unseen, immutable, and spiritual. Among them stands one of the most profound, the law of attraction. This law declares that like attracts like, that our dominant thoughts, emotions, and expectations summon corresponding realities into being. But this is not mere positive thinking or wishful dreaming. It is the deliberate alignment of the human spirit with divine intention, a harmony between belief and truth. When the mind and the heart move in unison with higher principles, unseen doors open, opportunities emerge, and success becomes not a pursuit but a result. Tonight, we will explore how to attract true success, not the fleeting illusion of it, but the kind born of wisdom, gratitude, and faith. You are about to see that your thoughts are not powerless. They are blueprints, shaping the very world around you. Everything begins in the mind. Long before anything takes form in the physical world, it first exists as a thought, a spark of intention, a vision quietly conceived within the inner chambers of consciousness. The universe, by its very design, responds to the vibrational frequency of those thoughts. This is not superstition or mystical imagination. It is a spiritual law as precise as gravity. Every thought we nurture is a seed, and that seed carries within it the full potential of the harvest it will one day produce. Just as a farmer cannot plant thorns and expect roses, we cannot dwell upon fear, lack, or defeat and expect abundance, victory, or peace to manifest. The divine has woven into the structure of existence a correspondence between what we think and what we experience. When we understand this, we begin to see that life is not happening to us, it is responding to us. Our outer world reflects our inner state. But not all thoughts hold equal weight. The passing idea that flits across the mind leaves little imprint, while those thoughts we feed with repetition, emotion, and belief sink deep into the fertile soil of our subconscious. They begin to construct the framework of our reality. A person who constantly meditates on limitation unwittingly builds a wall around his own destiny. Another, who fills his mind with gratitude, vision, and faith, finds that doors begin to open where none seem to exist. The divine blueprint of thought is impartial. It does not judge whether your belief serves or harms you. It simply mirrors what you hold to be true. This is why guarding the mind is not optional but essential. We are each the architects of unseen structures that will later appear as circumstances, relationships, and opportunities. Thoughts are not silent. They vibrate. They carry intention into the unseen realm where spiritual laws translate them into form. When your inner dialogue is dominated by worry, it is as though you are transmitting a signal that summons more reasons to worry. Yet when your thoughts are infused with faith and expectation, that same law amplifies your confidence and draws corresponding events into alignment. Success, therefore, begins not with the external pursuit of goals, but with internal mastery. To attract what is noble, enduring, and good, one must think upon what is noble, enduring, and good. The human mind is a garden, and neglect allows weeds to grow by default. Intentional cultivation of thought is the only way to ensure the harvest reflects divine purpose rather than chaos. There is a deeper mystery here. Thought is creative because humanity was made in the image of the Creator. The same power that spoke the universe into existence resides in the consciousness of those who think, believe, and imagine. When thought is aligned with wisdom and love, it harmonizes with the original frequency of creation itself. That is why visions born in faith seem to attract the resources, people, and opportunities needed to bring them forth. The universe recognizes its own vibration and moves to fulfill it. Success in this sense is not manufactured, it is magnetized. To attract success with the law of attraction, one must therefore begin by shaping the inner world with intention and discipline. Feed your mind with truth instead of fear. Visualize the outcomes you desire as though they are already unfolding. Speak to yourself words that confirm, not contradict, your purpose. And most importantly, align your desires with divine wisdom, ensuring that what you seek is not merely for self-glory, but for the unfolding of good. When thought and purpose converge in righteousness, the universe itself becomes a willing collaborator. Every success story begins not with the doing, but with the thinking that precedes it. Faith is the unseen force that activates the law of attraction. It is not merely believing that something might happen, it is the deep, unwavering conviction that it already exists in the unseen realm and is moving toward manifestation. Faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the spiritual design and the physical outcome. Without faith, thought remains dormant, like a seed kept in a jar. It may contain infinite potential, but until it is planted in the soil of belief, it will never take root or bear fruit. Faith is that planting. It is the energy that breathes life into thought and gives it permission to become reality. Many people misunderstand attraction as a mental exercise, when in truth it is a spiritual one. The mind conceives, but the heart believes. It is belief that energizes creation. Faith is not a product of the senses. It does not depend on evidence that can be seen or measured, because it operates in a dimension higher than sight. To live by faith is to see with the inner eye what has not yet appeared. The person who operates in faith becomes a co-creator with divine will. They no longer beg for blessings. They expect them not from arrogance, but from alignment. Expectation is the posture of faith. It is the inner knowing that unseen forces are already at work to fulfill what the mind has conceived and the heart has embraced. This kind of faith is not wishful thinking. It is a confident assurance that when thought and belief harmonize with divine principles, manifestation becomes inevitable. There is, however, a subtle but critical distinction between belief and faith. Belief can exist in the intellect. It can acknowledge that a principle is true. Faith, however, moves from acknowledgement to embodiment. It becomes a living force within the individual. One may believe that success is possible, yet continue to think and act in ways that contradict that belief. Faith requires consistency between thought, word, and deed. When all three are aligned, faith becomes an engine of manifestation. It transforms desire into reality through the invisible mechanism of spiritual law. This is why faith must be guarded and cultivated. Doubt, fear, and cynicism are like winds that uproot the tender seedlings of faith before they have time to grow. To attract success, one must learn to silence the noise of disbelief and listen to the quiet assurance of inner knowing. Faith also requires patience. The law of attraction does not operate on human timelines. Just as the farmer does not dig up the seed every day to check its progress, a person of faith does not disturb the process by constant anxiety or impatience. They trust the divine timing of harvest. Success attracted through faith often unfolds gradually, because its purpose is not merely to grant what is desired, but to shape the one who desires it. The waiting season refines character, tests motives, and deepens conviction. Those who endure the waiting without losing faith become worthy stewards of the success they attract. Ultimately, faith aligns the human will with divine order. It transforms ambition into purpose and desire into destiny. When faith becomes the foundation of thought, the individual moves from striving to flowing, from forcing outcomes to magnetizing them. The universe recognizes the frequency of unwavering belief and responds with precision. Faith is the spiritual current that carries vision from potential to manifestation. To attract true success, lasting, meaningful, and divine, one must believe not only that it is possible, but that it is already forming in the unseen, waiting for the right moment to appear. Faith does not chase, it attracts, because it already knows the promise is fulfilled. Words are among the most powerful forces in existence. Every syllable we speak carries energy, shaping the atmosphere around us and influencing the outcomes of our lives. Speech is not merely a vehicle for communication, it is a creative act. When we speak, we release vibrations that resonate through both the natural and spiritual realms. The law of attraction responds to those vibrations, amplifying whatever energy they carry, be it faith or fear, gratitude or complaint, blessing or curse. Many people unknowingly sabotage their own success by speaking contrary to their desires. They may dream of abundance, but continually speak words of lack. They long for healing, but confess only weakness. The universe listens not to their wishes, but to their declarations. Every word plants a seed, and every seed bears fruit in its time. There is a sacred connection between thought, word, and manifestation. Thoughts create the blueprint, but words give it substance. When we speak, we transform internal energy into external vibration. The spoken word solidifies belief, giving form to the abstract. This is why words of faith are so potent. They echo the creative command that once brought all things into existence. To say, I can, I am able, or it shall be done, aligns your spirit with divine creative power. But to say, I can't, it's impossible, or it never works for me, binds your own potential with invisible chains. The universe cannot distinguish between what you mean and what you say. It simply mirrors the vibration you release. Therefore, every word becomes a command to the unseen, an order that summons corresponding experiences into being. To attract success, one must learn to speak with intention and awareness. This is not about empty affirmations or rehearsed mantras spoken without conviction. It is about aligning your language with your belief and your purpose. When your words match your faith, your declarations become decrees that the universe must honor. You begin to speak not as a victim of circumstance, but as a creator aligned with divine order. The key is consistency. The power of the spoken word is weakened when mixed with contradiction. You cannot bless your day in the morning and curse it by midday and expect the law to respond favorably. The spiritual realm operates on clarity and conviction, not confusion and inconsistency. Your words must remain steadfast even when circumstances seem to contradict them. There is also wisdom in silence. Not every thought deserves to be spoken. Words have weight, and careless speech can undo days of faithful alignment. Guard your tongue as you would a treasure, for what you release cannot easily be reclaimed. Speak only what uplifts, affirms, and directs your life toward the vision you hold. Speak over your dreams as a gardener tends his plants, gently, consistently, and with care. Even in moments of trial, speak from the position of victory, not defeat. The universe responds to what you affirm, not to what you fear. Gratitude is among the highest forms of speech. When you speak words of thanks for blessings not yet seen, you activate a magnetic field of attraction around you. Gratitude communicates trust. It tells the universe and the divine that you already believe the promise is fulfilled. This attracts more reasons to be grateful. Complaining, on the other hand, reverses the process. It focuses energy on lack, summoning more of the same. Therefore, choose your words as carefully as you choose your thoughts. Speak life into your endeavors, faith into your vision, and peace into your circumstances. Words are spiritual instruments, and when played with faith and precision, they orchestrate a symphony of success that aligns heaven and earth in perfect harmony. The renewal of the mind is the foundation upon which lasting success is built. No matter how sincere our intentions or how strong our desire, we cannot attract a reality that contradicts our dominant patterns of thought. Many people attempt to change their circumstances while clinging to the same beliefs that created those circumstances in the first place. The law of attraction does not respond to fleeting wishes, but to the deep-rooted convictions of the subconscious mind. To truly attract success, we must first reprogram the inner dialogue that governs how we think, feel, and perceive. Transformation begins from within, and renewal of the mind is the process by which we align our mental patterns with divine truth rather than worldly limitation. The mind functions like a lens. Whatever belief system it holds will color every experience, every opportunity, and every challenge. If the lens is clouded by fear, insecurity, or unworthiness, even blessings will appear as burdens. But when the mind is renewed, when it is cleaned and refocused, it perceives reality through the light of faith, hope, and possibility. This inner renewal does not happen by accident. It requires deliberate effort. One must examine the beliefs inherited from childhood, culture, or past pain, and ask whether they serve or hinder divine purpose. Every limiting belief is a barrier that distorts the flow of attraction. The renewed mind, on the other hand, functions in harmony with higher laws, attracting opportunities, people, and outcomes that reflect clarity and confidence. Renewing the mind involves more than positive thinking. It is spiritual reconditioning. It requires unlearning old patterns of fear and replacing them with truth. The mind, left unattended, becomes a playground for doubt and negativity. But when disciplined through meditation, gratitude, and study of divine wisdom, it becomes a powerful instrument of creation. The transformation is gradual but profound. As we feed the mind with noble thoughts, thoughts of love, purpose, and faith, it begins to rewrite the inner narrative. Over time, the subconscious aligns itself with this new vibration, and external circumstances begin to mirror that shift. This is how the invisible process of renewal manifests visible success. Every renewed thought displaces an old one. Each time we choose faith over fear, we weaken the old patterns that kept us bound. This is not an easy battle, for the mind often clings to familiar suffering, but persistence is key. The renewed mind must be reinforced daily through intentional focus. Visualize success not as distant or unattainable, but as already unfolding. Imagine yourself living in the reality you seek, feeling the emotions of gratitude and peace as though it were already accomplished. The subconscious mind cannot distinguish between imagination and reality. It simply responds to the vibration of belief. The more vividly you hold the image, the more powerfully it begins to manifest through the law of attraction. Renewing the mind also means aligning thoughts with gratitude. Gratitude shifts focus from what is missing to what is present. It transforms scarcity into sufficiency and worry into worship. When you train your mind to notice the good, the universe responds by expanding it. A grateful mind attracts abundance because it vibrates at the frequency of fulfillment. Similarly, forgiveness plays a vital role in renewal. Resentment and bitterness clog the channels of attraction. Releasing them frees mental and spiritual energy, allowing divine flow to move unhindered. Ultimately, the renewal of the mind is not simply about achieving success, it is about becoming a vessel fit to sustain it. The mind that is not renewed may attract temporary gain but will quickly lose it through fear, pride, or confusion. But the renewed mind, anchored in truth and humility, attracts success that endures and blesses others. This transformation is the quiet miracle behind every great achievement. A mind reborn in wisdom, radiating faith, and perfectly aligned with the divine blueprint of abundance. The law of correspondence declares that the outer world is a mirror of the inner world. Everything we see in our circumstances, relationships, and environment is a reflection of what exists within us, our beliefs, emotions, and spiritual condition. Many people attempt to change their external situations without ever addressing the internal causes that sustain them. They fight against circumstances as though life were happening to them, unaware that it is actually responding to them. The universe is not random, it is precise and ordered. Every vibration within the human heart sends a signal outward, shaping the experiences that return. To understand this law is to recognize that success begins not with what we do, but with who we are. When we harbor resentment, fear, or doubt, those energies project into the world and attract experiences that confirm them. A person who feels unworthy will subconsciously draw circumstances that reinforce that feeling. Another who radiates confidence and gratitude naturally attracts opportunities and favor. This is not magic. It is resonance. The frequencies we emit determine the frequencies we receive. Just as a radio can only tune into the station that matches its frequency, our lives can only manifest realities that match our dominant state of mind. If we wish to alter what we experience, we must first alter the vibration we carry within. Self-awareness is therefore the first step in transformation. Instead of blaming others or lamenting fate, we must look inward with honesty. What emotions dominate our inner atmosphere? What stories do we continually tell ourselves about who we are and what we deserve? Every repeated thought becomes a belief, and every belief becomes an instruction to the universe. The law of correspondence ensures that what is within will be expressed without. If we desire peace, we must cultivate peace within. If we desire prosperity, we must release thoughts of lack and live from the consciousness of abundance. The universe simply reflects back the energy we present to it. This law also teaches humility. It reminds us that the conditions around us are not punishments or rewards, but reflections, mirrors showing us where we are in consciousness. Instead of despising difficult circumstances, we can use them as feedback. What lesson is this situation revealing about my beliefs? What within me must be healed, strengthened, or surrendered? When viewed through this lens, even challenges become instruments of growth. They expose inner conflicts and guide us toward alignment with divine truth. The person who embraces this understanding no longer sees themselves as a victim of life, but as a participant in its design. They realize that to change the reflection, one must change the image producing it. When the inner world becomes aligned with higher principles, the outer world begins to rearrange itself. Relationships improve because inner harmony replaces insecurity. Opportunities appear because confidence and gratitude create a magnetic field that draws them. The outer shifts naturally follow the inner correction. This is why the pursuit of external success without inner transformation often leads to emptiness or collapse. Material achievements cannot compensate for spiritual dissonance. True success, the kind that brings peace and fulfillment, emerges from harmony between inner being and outer expression. The law of correspondence calls us to live intentionally. It invites us to cultivate thoughts, emotions, and actions that reflect the reality we wish to create. When the inner life is ordered, the outer life mirrors that order. When the heart is at peace, life flows with ease. Every sunrise, every encounter, every outcome becomes a reflection of divine order working through us. To attract success, therefore, we must not chase after the reflection. We must polish the mirror of the soul. As within, so without. Change your inner world, and the world around you will transform in response. There is a delicate but essential distinction between desire and destiny. Not every longing of the heart is aligned with the higher purpose for which we were created. Many people confuse ambition with calling and chase after what glitters, mistaking it for gold. Yet the law of attraction operates most powerfully when our desires resonate with divine intention. The universe responds not to selfish craving, but to inspired purpose. True success is not the result of forcing one's will upon the world, but of aligning one's will with the greater flow of divine design. When desire is purified by wisdom, it ceases to be driven by ego and becomes the expression of destiny unfolding through us. Desire by itself is neutral. It is the emotional fuel of creation. But when disconnected from divine order, it becomes restless and consuming. It demands, takes, and fears loss. It tries to attract success through manipulation or sheer willpower, forgetting that the universe mirrors intention, not desperation. The unrefined desire says, "I must have this to be complete." The desire aligned with destiny says, "If it is part of the plan, it will find its way to me." One clings in anxiety, the other rests in assurance. The law of attraction amplifies whichever frequency dominates the heart. When desire vibrates with fear, it repels what it seeks. When it vibrates with faith and surrender, it draws its fulfillment naturally and without struggle. Discerning the difference between desire and destiny requires spiritual maturity. Destiny-centered desire arises from stillness, not restlessness. It does not demand validation from others because it already knows its source. It is accompanied by peace rather than anxiety. When we are in alignment with our true purpose, doors open with grace. The right people, opportunities, and timing converge effortlessly. This is not coincidence. It is correspondence between inner truth and outer manifestation. The universe recognizes authenticity and moves to support it. But when we pursue what is not ours, we encounter resistance and frustration, not as punishment, but as protection. The divine, in mercy, withholds what would ultimately derail or diminish us. Success, then, is not measured by accumulation, but by alignment. A person may achieve great wealth or fame and still feel empty if their pursuits were detached from their higher calling. Another, who follows a path that expresses their divine design, radiates peace and fulfillment even if their achievements appear modest by worldly standards. The law of attraction magnifies what we embody. When we embody purpose, success follows as a natural consequence. When we embody confusion, it manifests in our outcomes. The key is to purify desire until it reflects destiny, until what we want is no longer about personal gain, but about expressing the goodness, creativity, and wisdom implanted within us by the Creator. To attract success aligned with destiny, one must learn the art of surrender. Surrender does not mean passivity. It means releasing control and allowing divine timing to prevail. It means trusting that what belongs to you will come and what does not will fade. The person who lives by this truth walks in serenity, attracting not just results, but the right results. They no longer chase, they attract through alignment. The desires that remain after surrender are the ones worth pursuing, for they carry the signature of destiny. When desire becomes one with divine intention, the law of attraction becomes an instrument of grace. Success ceases to be a pursuit and becomes an unfolding, a dance between human effort and divine orchestration. In that harmony, we find not only achievement but meaning, not only prosperity but peace. Destiny, once embraced, transforms desire from restless wanting into sacred creation. Gratitude and expectation are the twin pillars that sustain the flow of attraction. Gratitude anchors us in the present moment, while expectation propels us toward the future. One grounds the soul, the other lifts it. Together, they create a spiritual current that draws abundance, opportunity, and favor into our lives. Gratitude declares that what we already have is enough, and in that declaration, the universe responds by multiplying it. Expectation, on the other hand, signals faith that more is coming, that the seeds we have planted will surely bear fruit. To attract lasting success, both must work together in perfect balance, for gratitude without expectation becomes complacency, and expectation without gratitude becomes greed. The union of the two produces harmony between satisfaction and faith. Gratitude is more than polite acknowledgement. It is a spiritual vibration that aligns us with the frequency of abundance. When we give thanks, we shift our attention from what is missing to what is present, and this shift transforms the energy we project into the world. The universe mirrors our focus. When we dwell on lack, we attract more of it. But when we consciously notice and celebrate even the smallest blessings, we tell the universe, "This is the kind of experience I desire more of." Gratitude is magnetic. It multiplies the good by recognizing it. It turns ordinary moments into miracles and scarcity into sufficiency. It quiets fear, heals anxiety, and opens the heart to receive. A grateful person walks in a constant state of readiness because gratitude clears the pathway for divine flow. Expectation is equally powerful. It is the attitude of faith that looks forward with certainty, not doubt. Expectation is not mere wishing, it is knowing. It is the calm confidence that what we have believed for is already unfolding, even if we cannot yet see it. The person who expects good things lives in a vibration of trust. They speak as though their desires are already on the way, and their behavior reflects that assurance. This attracts corresponding experiences. Expectation acts as a signal, drawing in the circumstances that match its frequency. Those who expect failure often find it. Those who expect favor discover that doors open in their direction. The law of attraction is impartial. It responds to faith and fear alike, amplifying whichever one we feed. The union of gratitude and expectation creates an unbreakable cycle of blessing. Gratitude keeps us humble and aware, while expectation keeps us hopeful and engaged. Gratitude celebrates what is. Expectation calls forth what will be. When you wake each day thankful for the opportunities already at hand and simultaneously expectant of greater things, you move into alignment with the flow of divine provision. This mindset eliminates worry, for you recognize that abundance is not something to chase, but something to receive. Gratitude opens your hands. Expectation keeps them lifted. Practicing this balance requires mindfulness. Begin and end each day with sincere thanks for what you have. Speak gratitude for the people, lessons, and even the challenges that have shaped your path. Then, without anxiety or impatience, set your intention for what you desire to attract next. See it, feel it, and thank the universe for it in advance. This act of faith tells creation that you trust the process. The unseen responds to such certainty. Gratitude and expectation, when joined, generate the highest spiritual resonance, the vibration of peace. Those who live in this state draw success effortlessly, for they are neither grasping nor doubting. They are at rest in the flow of divine abundance, content in the present and confident in the future. In such hearts, miracles become ordinary, and success is not something pursued, but something continually received.